Hi everyone, we're here in room 8 with Miss Kelsey, the teacher here in room 8. Now I want to tell you a fun fact about Miss Kelsey. Miss Kelsey is actually one of our alumni from here at Los Altos Grace preschool and school. She went to school here from 3 years old all the way through 6th grade. I've known Miss Kelsey since she was 3 years old because she went through school with my son. Another fun fact is Miss Kelsey was my aide when we were teaching together. I was teaching in kindergarten, she was my aide, and she was also an assistant kindergarten teacher. So Miss Kelsey is kind of a special person around here. Oh. Miss Kelsey, tell us about the children in this classroom.
So in this class, I have 4-year-olds. They are the oldest besides TK. So they turn 5 from January all the way to March, April. And I really love that age group because they're just so inquisitive at this time. They're so eager to learn new things. And the other thing I really love about them is their social dynamics are getting more intricate, and watching their friendships deepen and them actually caring about each other is really special. I always have 2 goals for my kids in the year, and that's for them to be kind and for them to think about other people's feelings. So watching that happen through the year is really fun.
What's your favorite thing about this particular class?
This year's roommate class is actually really special because we actually just got along so well. A lot of them are on the shyer side and more timid, and so they really clicked. And nobody's really left out. Everybody has multiple friends that come different days, and it's just been really fun to see them interact and try to include people and just be kind of like a little family.
What do you miss most about not being here with the children every day?
I really miss you guys. I miss them so much because we had such a great thing going. We were so close to each other that it was just really sad to me that that got cut off and we didn't get to continue all those relationships in person. We've been seeing each other virtually, but it's just not quite the same.
Great. Well, let's take a look at their work.
You guys have to remember way back to September when we first started together, and I had you draw a self-portrait. So this is Isla, and she drew herself. Can you guess what her favorite color was? It was pink. Hobart also had the favorite color of pink. He drew his name in a pattern, and he's very light in tan, but you can see he's right here. Jake has himself in his favorite color, green. Elena drew herself right here in the middle. She's in brown, but her favorite colors were pink and purple. Ethan used his favorite color, blue, and he did most of his art blue through the year. Tyler, he's so teeny tiny right here, I don't think you can see him, but his favorite colors were blue and green and orange at the beginning of the year. And Luna, she's got purple and pink for her favorite colors, and she's got a couple different colors in here and some good detail. And Evelyn. Evelyn's favorite color was pink, and she did a really great job drawing all the details on her face. Corey said he loved all the colors, and he used some pink and green to draw himself here. And Piper, another pink for the favorite color, and she drew herself and her name again. And Mason's got himself here in his favorite color, green. That's my favorite color too. Hudson did a really great job at himself, nice and big here in the middle. He also loved all the colors. And Lula has got herself here right in the middle. And last is Mackenzie. She loved red and pink, and she used pink to draw herself. It's really fun to see your guys' art, how it's grown from then. Okay, the next thing that we learned about was the farm. And we talked about the animals that live on the farm, the plants and food that grows on the farm, and how they grow. So the first thing I want to remind you of is our barn. You guys had to use a lot of cutting skills to make this barn. You cut the outside, and you had to cut the doors, and then you had to cut all these white strips and turn them into X's to put the details on. I wonder if we're gonna find something if we open these barn doors. Oh yeah, we've got some farm animals in there, some stickers that you guys had to peel and put in there with your finger strength. Good job. Now, down here at the bottom, you had to do some patterns using beans that you might find at the farm. And so you had to choose 2 colors and do every other, like Corey did white, red, white, red, white, red, all the way across his paper. That took a lot of time, and you guys did a really good job at that. One of the things we talked about the most about the farm was pumpkins and how do pumpkins grow. So right here, we have our life cycle of a pumpkin. It shows how a pumpkin starts at a seed and it grows and grows all the way to the big orange pumpkin at the end. And you guys had to write your numbers above each of those steps, which was really tricky at that time. Over here, these pumpkins say, what's inside a pumpkin? Do you remember when we cut open a real pumpkin and we stuck our hands inside and it was gooey and slimy? Well, we made a representation of that. We have the pulp, you guys wrote the word pulp, that was all ooey and icky, but it was holding all the seeds that grow new pumpkins, or sometimes we eat. And last up here, we have our little family houses that we made, because in November, we talked all about our families and how every single family is a little bit different. We have different people in our families, and you guys did a great job drawing every single member of your family. Piper even put her dog in there. That was really cute. So after we talked about fall, when we came back after Christmas, it was winter time. And even though it doesn't happen here where we live, we learned all about the snow. And we wanted to pretend like it was snowing, so we made these beautiful snow signs to put all around our room to make us feel like it was snowing. And you guys did a great job with your handwriting, writing S-N-O-W to spell the word snow. And then you had to use your finger strength to peel these very tricky snowflakes and decorate your signs. That was really good. Down here at the bottom, do you remember when we made these wonderful candy canes? You had to do a 3-color pattern, which was harder than our beans that we did with the farm. And you did 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, all the way on your candy canes, and they turned out so good, they even look good enough to eat. The last thing is my favorite thing that we did in the winter time. It is our snowmen and snow ladies. And all I gave you was 3 white circles that you had to cut out to start your snowman. And you had to add all the details yourself with markers. And you guys did such an amazing job. Some of them have clothes, some of them have heart-shaped buttons. This one's wearing sunglasses. And over here, Evelyn even added some little animal friends to her snowman. And I just love them so much. They turned out so great. Okay, after we finished talking about winter, we moved on to our animal units. And we started with the animals that live in the freezing cold snow all the time. These are the Arctic animals. The first thing we made with our Arctic animals is this polar bear. And you guys had to be very patient making this polar bear because it took us 2 days to finish this project. Do you remember how fun it was on the first day to finger paint the background with blue and white paint and to see what happened when those colors mixed together? That turned out really beautiful. We had to wait for that to dry, and then the next day we took a giant stencil and painted on our polar bear. That turned out really cool. Another animal that we made up here is the walrus. Now the walrus was tricky because it had a lot of steps and directions that you had to remember to put that together. And you guys used your cutting skills and you even did a little painting on there, and they turned out really nice. It looks like he's jumping out of the water right there. Another animal we have down here, a lot of you didn't even know what this animal was until we talked about it. It's the narwhal, and we read a story about all the things to know about a narwhal, and then we made our own. And this was actually a really tricky cutting job because you had to cut the body by yourself. The fin and these tight turns to get the tail, and you guys did a really great job at that. Now last, this is probably my favorite Arctic animal. These are our penguins. And the penguin project was all about following directions, but still using your own artistic eye. So I gave you step-by-step directions, like let's start with a head, then we'll add a body, and we added 2 fins and 2 feet. We added the details to the face, and even though we were doing the same steps, every single one turned out unique and beautiful. And then you guys added your own details. Some of you made emperor penguins with the bright colors, and Mason here made a macaroni penguin with the fun hair coming out of the side. Those turned out really great. The next animal unit that we learned about was the ocean, and we talked about all the different animals that live there. But you know, we really wanted to pretend like we could be in the ocean. So we made some diver versions of ourselves that could go down deep with the dolphins and the jellyfish and everything that lives in the water. And I really love how these turned out because you guys had to cut the body, which was tricky, but then you made them all look different by your color choices and all these neon colored details that you added to your wetsuit. Some of you even added some fun hair, which was really nice. Now over here, we have 2 fish that remind us of a story we read called Rainbow Fish. And Rainbow Fish is a story about a fish that had beautiful sparkly scales, but wouldn't share them with anybody. And so he was very lonely. And by the end of the story, he realized it was better to share his sparkly scales and have friends than be beautiful and be all alone. And so to remember that story, we each made our own colorful version of Rainbow Fish, and every single one has 1 sparkly scale, because at the end of the story, each fish had 1 sparkly scale. Now here at the top, you made your own underwater scene, and we used oil pastels to do all these details, the sand and the kelp and the corals that are growing under the ocean. And Hudson over here even drew his own animals. He's got a whale, a crab, and a jellyfish that he drew. Then we finished it off with some fun ocean animal stickers. Those turned out really, really great. The next unit we talked about was all about insects. And we didn't just read a story about how an egg turns into a butterfly. We watched it happen in our classroom. Do you remember when we got our little jar of caterpillars and we watched them eat and grow until they turned into a chrysalis and then came out as butterflies? Well, we spent that whole week making an art project that would remind us of the life cycle of the butterfly. So we hung them up in our room when they were done, which was really fun. And I'm going to show you how it worked. First, a butterfly lands on a leaf and lays her eggs. Then out of the egg comes a caterpillar. And the caterpillar munches and crunches on leaves until it gets big and fat, and it's ready to turn itself into a chrysalis. And inside the chrysalis, it's changing for about 2 weeks. And when it comes out, it's a beautiful butterfly again. So that was really fun watching that whole process happen. And then we got to hang these to remember it in our room. Our next animal group that we learned about was the jungle and the rainforest, and we actually made a rainforest in our classroom to play in, which was really fun. And of all the animals that we learned about, I think your favorite was the sloth. And over here on our board, we have a couple different sloth mommies, and they even have some sloth babies with them. Now, do you remember why we put green paint all over our sloths? It's because sloths move so slowly that algae actually grows in their fur, and the green helps them blend into the rainforest so animals don't come over to get them. So we did that with some paint, which was really fun. And one of you was the one that had the idea to make the baby sloths the day we were doing this, and I just think they turned out so adorable. Another animal that we learned about is the chameleon. And we read a story about chameleons and even watched a video about how they change color. And so we used watercolors to make our own colorful chameleons, and you guys got to do it any colors that you wanted. They turned out really bright and beautiful. Now, we also learned about the big anaconda snake that lives in the rainforest, and we decided to make our own. So we have a big, long blue and teal snake down here, and we have a orange, green, and yellow snake across the top. Now that project took a really long time. You guys had to cut every single strip of paper for that snake, and then you had to use hand-eye coordination to flip it into a loop to make the chain for the snake. That was really hard, but they turned out so great. And then lastly, we learned about the poison dart frogs. And you guys were very excited about all the different colors that poison dart frogs are. And the reason they're bright colors is to warn other animals, I'm poisonous, do not eat me. So we took the plastic toy frogs that we were playing with in our room, and you guys chose your favorite, and then you had to paint your own version of that. And these look so great, you would never know you used your fingers instead of paintbrushes to paint these frogs, and they turned out so bright and so great. The last animal unit we got to do together in class was all about the wild animals. And my absolute favorite project that we did during that week was I gave you a real picture of an animal. You got to choose whatever wild animal you wanted. This one is called okapi. And then you got to use a big easel and a big piece of paper to paint your version of this animal. And so Tyler painted the okapi. You can see the same stripes that it has on its legs, and he even did the background of where it lives. Luna painted a zebra, and you can tell by its stripes, and she even gave it some striped hair, the cloud details and the grass that it's in on the bottom. The details you guys put in these paintings were just unbelievable. Isla chose a black panther for her painting, and she painted the black panther in the middle, put a sunset behind it, and then did all the grass and the plants where it lives. And then last, Piper chose a hyena, which was a very popular animal that week in our class. And she painted a mommy hyena and a baby, a sunset background, and the grass where they live. And so Hudson painted this very tall giraffe. Tyler chose a jaguar. You can tell he's got all the details in the fur and even a great background. Elena chose to paint a lion with his big mane. Mason chose the fast cheetah, and you can see the body is like running, just like in the picture. Now, a couple friends chose to paint this wild animal, which is called the okapi. So Tyler has the stripes on the leg. Corey painted the okapi and then decided it was raining, so he added rain on top of his picture. And Hobart decided to paint just the face of the okapi, so he's got all the face details that are just like the photograph that I gave him. Now here's Tyler again. Some of the kids painted more than one because it was just so much fun. He painted an elephant. A few friends chose the stripes of the zebra. Here's a Luna with her stripes. Mackenzie also did a zebra. And Mason painted me a zebra. And look at all these fun background details that everybody added. Another favorite was the hyena. So Piper has a mommy hyena and a baby hyena, and she's got the nice sunset background for her hyenas. Evelyn told me her favorite animal was the hyena, so she definitely wanted to paint that one. And Hudson also painted a hyena. He's got the spots and everything. A few friends painted a black panther too. So Isla started with her black panther in the middle, added a sunset, and then added all the fun plants and details about where it lives. Jake also chose to paint a black panther, and he's got lots of details in his painting too. And then lastly, Lula also painted a very cute and happy black panther.
Well, Miss Kelsey and boys and girls, as I watched all those things you made this year, first of all, it really makes me miss every single child that's in this class. I miss you all so much. I miss your hugs. I miss your smiles. I miss your stories. It's wonderful to see the things that you did, the ways you grew, the wonderful activities you had. You had a wonderful year with Miss Kelsey. It was great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you guys really had a lot of growth this year, and I'm so glad I got to be a part of it and to witness it and be there with you guys. And honestly, I just really love and miss you.